How's it going, everybody? It's C for Cookies, or I'm for Melanie here. Do you guys ever have those moments that you just think about at the worst time, whether it be an embarrassing moment or just like a really deep emotional moment, or like something that you just shouldn't be thinking of because it's not the appropriate time for that? Like, I've had those moments, or I had one of those moments recently when I was in class, and I kind of just wanted to talk about it. So this moment is one of my most embarrassing moments that has ever happened to me. And it's actually kind of the only embarrassing moment that I can ever think about. And I know that sounds kind of horrible, but it's kind of like the way my brain works is that whenever something embarrassing happens to me, I kind of just block it out and I don't remember it. And I'm kind of glad for that because it spares me the traumatic emotional damage of remembering those. But for some reason my brain has not blocked out this moment yet, and yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk about it. So my friend Sydney and I went swimming last year, and at the swimming pool there was two separate pools. One for the shallow end for like the smaller kids, and then one deeper end for like the bigger kids or some swimming lessons that you learn to dive in. Now the deeper end had diving pools, as most pools do, and Sydney and I, we were just chilling in that side of the pool. We were like just swimming around doing stuff, and she was teaching me how to do like front flips in the pool. And we were just practicing on like the borders of the pool, so we would stand on like the sidelines of the pool and then front flip into the pool. So I was doing actually very well. Like, I wasn't like falling in or anything. Like, I was doing full flips, and while we were doing that, there was like kids on the diving boards, and Sydney wanted to go on. So I was like, alright, you can go on. I'm probably not going to because I have a fear of heights. And so she went on the small one, she did a couple front flips, and then she convinced me to go on. So I went on the small one, and I did a front flip. I was fine, and the small one's only like 3 or 4 feet above the water, so it's not that bad. It might even be like 2 or 3, but so it's not that high. But the tall one is like 15 feet above the water, so it's pretty tall. So she went on the tall one, and we were just kind of like jumping off. Like, I went on the tall one. I don't know how I convinced myself, but I went on the tall one a couple times, just jumping off normally. And she went on the tall one a couple times, jumping off normally. And we were fine. So then she wanted to go on the tall one and do a front flip. So I was like, yeah, you can do that. I probably won't, but you can. And so she did, and she successfully did a front flip. So then I was like, yeah, if she can do it, I can do it. So she did it a couple more times, and I was like, yeah, I got this. Like, I can do this. So I went in line of the diving board. I waited until it was my turn. Kids were already lining up behind me, and I got up. You can probably imagine where the story is going so far. So when it was my turn, I got up on the diving board. I got to the very edge of the diving board, and I was looking down. I was like, oh god, I don't think I can go through with this. I don't think I can do a front flip off of this. And then I was like trying to talk myself into it. I was like, yeah, no, I can do it. Like, hurry up because there's kids waiting behind you. And then like I was having a battle with myself. Like, part of my brain was like, no, you can do it. Part of my brain was like, no, get off. You're gonna make a fool of yourself. And then I was like, well, I could just jump off if I don't want to do a front flip. But then part of me was like, no, you have to do a front flip. Like, you have to prove yourself. So I was like, okay, I can do this. Like, it's no big deal. Sydney did it. I can do it. I'll be fine. So I didn't just jump off. I didn't just jump off of the diving board. I flung myself off of the diving board, but I didn't like curl in my arms or legs. I left them in like a starfish position. So I flung myself off the diving board in a starfish position, and I just like smacked into the water. And as soon as I smacked into the water, it made this like horrible, hollow, just like smacking sound. Like, imagine you're smacking a wooden spoon against your hand. Imagine that sound times like 20. That was the sound I made when I smacked the surface of the water. And as I just like made contact with it, as that sound like echoed out, the whole pool went silent, dead silent. And all you could hear was like a low-toned ooh. It was so echoey, I could hear it underwater. And then it didn't help that like there was like 5 kids behind me that were like giggling. And I was like, oh my god, like I just belly flopped into a pool off of like a 15-foot diving board. I swam underwater to Sydney, who was in the water like away from the diving board, and she looked at me, she was like, oh my god, are you okay? Like that looked like it hurt. It sounded like it hurt. And at this point my legs were already turning bright red, my arms were bright red, my stomach was bright red. I was wearing a one-piece bathing suit, but I could tell it was turning red. I could feel the stinging of the water like on my stomach, on my legs. It was horrible. So she was like, are you okay? Like that looked like it hurt a lot. And I was like, what? No, it didn't hurt. At this point I like got up on the sidelines of the pool again. I was sitting, and like I said, my legs were like bright red on my thighs. It was horrible. And I had like tears in my eyes. I wasn't like breaking down and crying, but I had tears in my eyes. And this boy comes up, he was about my age, and he comes up to me, he's like, are you okay? Like, I saw what happened, are you okay? And in my mind, I just like wanted to push him in the pool. I wanted to be like, get away from me, like, oh my god. Like, it felt nice that because he generally looked concerned about what happened. He looked like he generally cared. But at that moment, I just wanted to like push him into the pool because I felt so embarrassed. And anybody that's gone through an embarrassing time knows that when you're confronted about it, it just makes it 10 times worse. That night, when I came home, I went on YouTube and I started searching belly flop diving board fails just to make myself feel better, knowing that I wasn't the only one that did it. But it was just like, in that moment, it felt like the worst feeling ever, just knowing that everybody in the pool saw it and everybody knew what happened. Actually, that's like the only embarrassing thing I can remember. Like, of course I've had like awkward moments, or I've had like moments I wish I could forget, or moments that it's like that happened and you'd think they would be embarrassing, but to me they weren't. Like, I've had those kind of moments, but this is the only like actually like embarrassing thing that's happened to me. So yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, leave a like. It lets me know whether or not you like the content. If you have any suggestions on what you think I should do for my next week's video, or what you think Trinity and I should do for our group video, leave them down in the comments below and we will get to them. My Twitter, Trinity's Twitter, and the channel's Twitter will be in links in the description below, so you can go click on those. They're great. And I will see you next week. Peace out from Cookies.